Officials in Ukraine say at least 2 people have been killed in a Russian strike on Kherson overnight. Russian forces continue shelling the southern city despite flooding caused by the destruction of a dam earlier this month. Meanwhile, Ukraine's military claims its forces are advancing in the south and stopped a Russian offensive in the east. So joining me now from Kyiv is BBC News correspondent Mayeni Jones to talk a little bit about what's going on there. So, Mayeni, Ukraine's President Zelenskyy has admitted earlier this week that, progress in the country's counteroffensive has been slower than desired. That's what he said. Why are Russian lines proving harder than expected to break?
I think Mr. Zelensky's administration would point mostly to the late start in this counteroffensive. It was due to start in the spring, but it only started earlier this month, so in the summer. And there are several reasons for that. One of them is that Ukrainian troops needed to be trained. There was also very bad weather in the spring that would have made progress difficult. And recently, the Zelensky administration has also suggested that there was a delay in delivering weapons from some of their international partners. But all of this delay has meant that Russian troops have had a lot of time to build their defenses. They have these deep defensive lines that have proven very tricky for Ukrainian forces to breach. So that's why they're saying that progress has been slower than they would have liked.
So in terms of the assets, and I know, Zelensky is always asking for more assets, but has Ukraine deployed all of its assets yet in this counteroffensive?
The short answer is no. The Ukrainian authorities keep saying that they're not yet at the main stage of their counteroffensive. This is a preliminary stage. They're probing the Russian defenses to see where there are weaknesses that they might be able to go through. But they say that they have more weapons and more troops in reserve. And they pointed to their last counteroffensive back in the autumn as evidence that this wasn't the full strength of their military might, explaining that back then they also started slowly and then picked up later on.
So yesterday, Russia accused Ukraine of striking a bridge linking the Crimea Peninsula to the Ukrainian mainland, areas of the mainland that Russia controls. Ukraine has denied that they did this, which I don't know why they would deny it, because it seems like a smart strategic move. But can you talk to us a little bit about the strategic value of this bridge?
Yeah, the Ukrainian authorities were quite strategic in their wording. They didn't quite deny it, but they didn't confirm their involvement in it. And it might be because it's still early stages. They don't want to give up too much of their strategy. But as you say, it's a good strategic move because this is one of the key supply routes for Russian troops from the Crimean Peninsula into Russian-occupied territory in the south of the country. Some analysts say up to 70% of civilian and military traffic between Crimea and the south of the country uses that particular bridge. So if they were to cut it off, it would have a deep impact on Russian forces. And many analysts here do believe that cutting off Russia's supply routes via Crimea is one of the key aims of this counteroffensive.
All right, Mayeni Jones, thank you very much.